Maharashtra is going to have its own state's agriculture data exchange.
Thank you for telling that this is not just a funding program.
Yeah.
You're providing infrastructure support, you're providing mentorship, you're providing domain knowledge.
We are going to develop a DPI. There's one very important component of policy pillar is Maharashtra is going to have its own state's agriculture data exchange.
And action.
Let's move. Welcome to another episode of Dialogue Diaries, where we go beyond the headlines and explore the interaction of innovation, policy, and purpose. From the drone mapping of vineyards in Nashik to AI-based pest prediction in Vidarbha, the AI has come a long way. This has become the norm in Maharashtra. Recently, one such program which drives the vision of government of Maharashtra, which is AI for every acre and innovation for every farmer. The government is now funding AI-driven innovations for the AgriTech entrepreneurs. And this program is launched through AI and AgriTech Innovation Center. We have with us today Mr. Shrikant, who's the managing director of this center and the person who is behind the implementation of this program. We would try to discuss with him and unpack what is this call for proposals. Welcome, Mr. Shrikant. First question I have for you is that Maharashtra traditionally has this leadership in the agriculture, but recently you have decided to provide funding opportunities to the entrepreneurs who are trying to implement artificial intelligence and emerging technologies in agriculture. Can you explain us more about this vision?
Yeah, thank you, Vikas. I'm glad to be here. Indeed, Maharashtra has a very rich and diverse legacy as far as the agriculture sector is concerned. And this comes with a responsibility to constantly innovate. So technology, especially artificial intelligence nowadays, can play a vital role in transforming the agriculture, which our state has and our visionary leaderships has perceived that this can be a game changer, or this can give another spin in agriculture productivity improvement, not only productivity of crops, but even productivity of all the players in an ecosystem, agriculture and in food system. So state has come up with a clear-cut vision to build AI and around a complete ecosystem, which will not only create digital public infrastructure for the public, but also it will promote innovation from private sector. Government wants to participate. The MahaAgri-AI policy that government has come up with a very ambitious roadmap to revolutionize our agri sector by strategically integrating AI and emerging technology in an agri value chains of Maharashtra. So because I can say in short, we were inspired by the need of future-proof farming and to enhance the productivity and resilience for every farmer in every corner of Maharashtra. By launching AIAIC and this first edition of Call for Proposals, we created a dedicated platform to turn the vision into on-ground action. Maharashtra has been an innovation leader in the past, from pioneering the cooperative in dairy, sugar mills, and many other agribusinesses. Now we are looking to integrate AI and emerging technology in agriculture. I must say this vision is very much well aligned with Viksit by 2047 and Digital India AI mission.
So, I have been seeing your call for proposal, and one of the very interesting tagline I found there was AI for every acre and innovation for every farmer. Would you like to explain the broader vision behind AI for every acre? What do you mean by that?
So because basically AI for every acre, this means government want to touch to each and every farmer in the state. Be it in a remote districts, especially in a Vidarbha region, where like Gadchiroli district, these are supposed to be the remote districts. So government wants to bring more granularity, or we can say government want to give a personalized advisory to a farmer. Right now there are many advisory solutions that government is going to or government is giving. Even private sector is also trying, but those are very generic, mostly at district, or at the most those are at block level, which many times farmer doesn't find any value into it. So AI now gives an opportunity which need to be actually capitalized, and this opportunity is like if a farmer is of a growing some vegetables, so he need advisory for that particular crop, and as per his field condition, local climate, and say market related information, but he is interested in that crop only. What is going to happen with that crop? So because actually we mean delivering personalized advisory and personalized guidance to a farmer, and we aim to reach to each and every farmer in literal sense. Yeah. So that is the meaning.
Yeah. So I think that's very interesting to know that you're trying to move now from village level advisory to a very granular farm level advisory, that too personalized based on, as you said, somebody is growing a vegetable, so you can get a vegetable based advice. Now, I think the next thing I wanted to know from you was that you providing funding support to the AgriTech entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
In the state, you have this Maharashtra State Innovation Society,
Yeah.
which also provide the funding support.
Yeah.
So my question is, this program, which is also giving funding support, how it is different from the programs which are already there, and how does it complement what is already being done by various departments, say for example, this Maharashtra State Innovation Society?
Yeah. So because this is a very interesting question. See, there are several other programs, and this Maharashtra State Initiative or Maharashtra's State Innovation Society's funding program is also funding AgriTech. But see, this program is not a sector specific. State Innovation Society provides funding support for every sector, and that is just a funding support for developing the solution. If you look at our policy, that policy is not about the funding only, first of thing. Second, this is very sector specific. State Innovation Society, in other way, it is sector agnostic. So this is very much focused on agriculture sector. And yes, I agree, funding is a significant component of this policy. But beyond the funding, we are going to develop a DPIs which will enable startups, research institutions, and many others to build innovation around those DPIs. So these DPIs, such as there is one very important component of policy pillar, is Maharashtra is going to have its own state's agriculture data exchange. In that data exchange, we are integrating various data sets with agri and allied sector department, which do they have. And even there are many more institutions under these department, and those institutions also have the data sets. For instance, our agriculture universities has many more data sets about the research and varietal improvements. Similarly, warehousing corporation has a warehouse landscape in the state, and what storage and at what rate one can avail that storage facility. Market prices, that database is with Maharashtra State Agriculture Marketing Board. So we are integrating it, and these departments, right now every department works for their mandate only. But innovation can happen across the department, which no department right now is focusing. One is focused with its mandate only. So those startups can build those interdepartmental innovations. So this DPI will enable them. Similarly, we are bringing DPI in traceability, especially from food safety angle. We are bringing another DPI, which is for remote sensing and GIS-based intelligence engine, which will keep tracking on how the crop health is and how the crop season is going on. So these DPIs we are building under this policy. So this policy is not about innovation only, and this is very much focused on agriculture, and that too integrating or developing the solutions around artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies like robotics or computer vision. There are many more emerging technology. So we are focused for agriculture, and that too developing solutions around AI and emerging technologies.
So this is really good to know that we're not only giving the money, but also providing lots of infrastructure.
Yeah.
But just for the sake of the people who are listening to you, you use the word DPI many times when you were explaining.
Yeah.
Can you tell a little bit more about what a DPI is? I understand that lots of technical people will know about it, but for others. And second, I would also like to add and know from you, how does your program align with the national AI mission, for which also there is a significant budget which Government of India has allocated?
So this program is very much aligned with the Digital India AI mission. In fact, I would say we are inspired by that program, but we have come up with a sector-specific innovation program. Second thing, DPI is these are the digital like Aadhaar. So Aadhaar is one kind of DPI, and various solutions like UPI, DigiLocker, DigiYatra. There are many more solutions which are developed around those DPI. So we are going to develop DPI for agriculture sector. So this could be, AgriTech, that could be a part of DPI. Similarly, there is very much information with private sector. We can bring it on the data exchange platform. So many more information from the private sector and government sector would enhance the utility of that data exchange platform.
Okay, so basically DPIs, as I understand from what you're saying, would be the shared public infrastructure, which will also be made available to the AgriTech entrepreneurs in addition to the funding. For example, if you create a chatbot or a GIS engine or farmers' data sets, you're saying that would also be available to the AgriTech entrepreneurs to experiment with their innovative ideas.
In addition to that, we are going to provide mentorship also. So basically, we have 4 agriculture universities. So those startups or innovators can also have access to the domain knowledge in the university. They can also talk to our researchers. They could get the mentorship. So this program is not about only funding. So this program would give mentorship. They would give, they can access the DPI. We are providing sandbox environment as well, where they can test their solutions. And similarly, beyond startups, ultimately the target user is a farmers. So we have also included capacity building program for the farmers and for our departmental staff. So that is also very much important. So if you see, this program is designed for integrating artificial intelligence in agri sector and promote innovation in agriculture sector with the help of AI and emerging technology which can transform the agriculture.
Thank you for telling that this is not just a funding program,
Yeah.
but you're providing infrastructure support, you're providing mentorship,
Yeah.
you're providing domain knowledge. And I'm sure the agriculture department officials would also be helping these people to reach out
certainly,
to.
certainly. So our department officers will handhold the startups when they will go into the field. Ultimately, a solution has to reach to a field. And our department officers are working since ages with the farmers, and they have developed very good relations with the farmers or various institutions like FPOs or farmer producer companies, cooperatives. So our department officials will connect them to the farmers and right farmers.
So, in your program, I have seen that this is not just a call for funding proposals. You have also given certain problem statements.
Yes, yes.
To which I guess the applicants will have to adhere to. Can you tell us more about these problem statements and the reason for specifying these problems while having this call for proposal for funding?
So because if you have gone through our problem statements, those problem statements are very generic. And those problem statement covers entire landscape of agriculture, right from soil health management, nutrition management, and input management to say post-harvest and supply chain management. So we are trying to cover entire spectrum of agriculture, but those problem statements are not crop specific, and those problem statements we have made deliberately not to have a crop specific problem statement, at least in a first edition of this call for proposal. Certainly we are going to have furthermore editions, but we want to have a generic landscape where any startup or any innovator or any FPO, they can propose solution for a crop of their interest or any activity which can be useful for many crops. So that's why those problem statements we have deliberately kept very generic. Second thing, see, while formulating the policy, we have interacted to the industry, academia, many progressive farmers, and of course department officials, because they are working with the farmers, they are also working with the agriculture universities, and we have also consulted the agriculture universities. So we have collected many problem statements from all these diverse people, and as a department we do also have very much awareness about the sectoral problem specific to a Maharashtra. So these problem statements, you can say that these are very much deliberated in many consultation programs, and this is the first edition. Of course we will come up with the many more editions which could be crop specific. Yeah.
Okay. So what I understand from what you're saying is that you said this is first edition, which actually means that there will be more call for proposals, there will be more opportunities for funding, and new problem statements can come up in future.
Yeah, certainly.
Either crop specific or generic.
Yeah.
The second thing in your call for proposals which I noted was that you have two tracks.
Yeah.
Track 1 is about ideation and discovery, and track 2 talks about piloting and proof of concept testing.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit more about what are these two tracks and why only two tracks? Because I have seen that you've stopped at doing a pilot at district.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know whether you would be expanding it at a later stage to the state level if something is found good. So if you can explain that, that'll be very useful to understand this entire program.
Yeah, thank you. So because this is Very important question. So we have come up with two tracks, as you said. So one is track one, which is for discovery and ideation. So many students or many innovators or even a startup or any agency that could have a very bright idea, which can be, if a solution developed around that idea, that can be very much beneficial to the farmer. So we do want to cultivate those ideas. We want to, people or innovators, students should come up with those ideas to us. And we will help them with the funding. We will also make them available government infrastructure. Like we do have farms almost in every taluka of a state. So we can provide those farms for trials or research work, what they want to test in the real farm. Second, we do have laboratories, we have university campuses. So we can provide mentorship also. So under track one, we are coming up with the funding of up to 40 lakh, which would be, of course, depend upon the requirement of a solution. But we have capped it at 40 lakh only. And they would have benefit of other government infrastructure and mentorship from our universities and experts. Under this track, we would incubate the ideas. So this is the purpose of this track one. In track two, like there are many organizations right now working around IoTs, mostly IoTs, and in some cases AI or robotics. They do have their own solutions and they are trying to penetrate into the market. If they feel they want to go with the government or with the help of government, if they want to scale it up. See, as these are research done by them, they would have their own claims. Yeah. And those claims, as a government, when we do promote any technology or any solution, that need to be validated. Right now, in our extension system, we are promoting a public sector research, mostly done by agriculture universities and ICR institutes. Even private sector also does have many more research, like in seed, fertilizer. They are coming up with their products, they are marketing in the private sector or among the farming community. Likewise, these agencies or these organizations are also free to go into the market and they can sell their product. But if they feel that with the help of government support they want to grow, then track 2 is designed for them. And certainly government will validate their claims with the help of university scientists, with the help of ICR institutes. And then only the validated and promising solutions would be backed by the government. And for them, there could be a track 3. So in a controlled manner, we want to test those solutions, satisfy ourselves first, and only trusted and validated solution should be reached to the farmer. That is the idea behind the track 2. Yeah.
So that actually, I'm a bit curious to know that, say track 3, is there a limit of funding in track 3 up to what amount can I get? Number one. And number 2 is, say for example, if I already have a solution which I have validated some, is it compulsory for me to go through track 2 or can I directly apply for a track 3 funding as and when it becomes available?
So there are 2 questions. So I would answer one by one. So first is track 2 would be the only channel to get entry into track 3.
So one cannot come directly?
No. Because see, we need to validate the claims. Ultimately, we are the government. We cannot recommend any solution based on their own claims. So government need to validate those solutions. Ultimately, we cannot put interest of the farmers at stake. Yeah, and so we want to validate those solutions. So track 2 is the entry for the organizations which are ready with a solution which can be marketed. So that is the channel. Second, your question is funding limit. Under track 3, most probably we will go in a DBT way and in a control scale, not a pan state scale, because ultimately if government is backing one solution, that company or that startup can certainly raise the funding from market and they can grow. And government will provide subsidy to a farmer if the solution is not affordable for them.
So then what you're saying is that if somebody applies for a track 3 funding,
Yeah.
he will not get the money directly.
Yeah.
But if he sells those services to farmers, you will subsidize that service
Yes.
by transferring
Yes.
money to the farmers directly.
Yeah, it is farmer is going for drip is a technology. Tractor and many more high-tech machinery. These are also solutions in various problems in the agriculture. In similar way, if farmer finds a value in that solution, he will go for that solution. We don't want farmer to buy a solution just because government backs it. We want farmer to use it if it is unaffordable for them right now because companies are not having that much scale of production or that much viability is right now not there or this product is yet to become popularized. For those instances, we are going to provide the funding. तो इसमें हम ये कह सकते हैं कि जब गवर्नमेंट फंडिंग कर रही है तो वो प्राइवेट सेक्टर से फाइनेंस ले सकती है कंपनी. So our support would be limited one. So we would encourage startups. They should not be totally dependent on the government. They should become self-sufficient and they should raise the funds. And this is a stopgap arrangement of a government subsidy. This would not go in a longer run.
So would there be a precondition for them to bring private financing for track 3?
Yes, certainly it would be.
It would be.
See, this is another validation, in fact. If private sector or someone investor finds value in the solution, then only he will give investment.
So can we then safely say 2-3 things? One, track 3 would be a bigger track where you can have your solution deployed across the state.
Yeah, in multiple
But
states.
the payment will be only for the result,
Right.
which has to be validated by the end user, which is the farmer.
Yes.
And the person who's applying in track 3 has to also bring private finance.
Yes.
And basically the money will not be given to the company directly, it will be given to the end user.
Right.
So that's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's the idea. If you have seen our document, right now we have not written about anything about the track 3.
Yeah.
So we will come up with a similar kind of detailed guideline in track 3. But I have just indicated what could be the things around track 3.
By when can we expect the next?
This is the first edition of call for proposal. So any solution which will be, or any agency applying for track 2. Agriculture, at least a season is a time limit where we can test a solution if it is a crop specific. And if it is a generic solution, say on climate data or soil quality analysis. So at least 6 months would be good enough to test the solutions. And then we would be with a handful proposal which we can elevate them to in a track 3. But every solution which will come under track 2 that must have proved their claims.
Okay. So there is no direct entry for track 3?
No.
Okay. Thank you for this coffee.
Yeah.
Now that we are discussing it over coffee,
Yeah.
I am thinking about being a little more bolder and ask you some questions which might feel uncomfortable, but from the point of view of an AgriTech entrepreneur, these are the questions which everybody asks whenever there is a government program.
Yeah.
We're talking about a fund of 350 crores in the beginning.
Yeah, for innovations. Yeah.
For innovations. So one of the key concerns people have is that if it is a government program, like In Maharashtra, you might be saying that if it is a government program, thamba for 6 months or something like
Yeah.
that. But in other states also, whenever government does some kind of a funding, the key concern is कि हमको तो मिलेगा नहीं, कोई ना कोई कुछ ही जान पहचान होगा तो मिलेगा. So how will you ensure that the entire selection process is above board, there is complete transparency, and there is trust in the agri-tech community and the industry that whosoever is being funded from this program will not only provide benefits to the farmers but will produce the solutions which could also be scaled up first at the state level, but also maybe for global south in the long run. So on that, I would like to know how will you govern this program so that that trust remains?
Okay. So, Vikas, to answer to this question, if you have read the guideline that we have put on our website, we have come up with a very crystal clear timeline. We are going to accept first round of this call for proposal. We are going to accept proposal. The word is on or before. Till 50th December, we are going to evaluate those proposals. And most probably by 31st December, which we have also written in the document, okay, by 31st December, we will announce which startups or which organizations are shortlisted for funding program under the MahaAgri-AI policy. And those organizations, be it startup, be it a FPO, or be it a cooperative, we are also going to disclose it in a public domain. So there will be public announcement after 31st December. So there is nothing to be uncomfortable, and government systems are moving fast. So if you remember, the policy was launched by end of month of June, and right now we are talking about funding those organizations. So in between, we have set up this institute, this center. We had many partnerships with the various academia like AIAIC, Bangalore, and our agriculture universities. We are setting up AI Cube. Those would be the regional center for promoting AI innovation. So a lot of work has done in between time, and simultaneously we have consulted many more organizations as I have described earlier, and we have prepared guidelines, we have come up with the problem statement. So a little bit time required to set the processes. Once the processes are set, then we would be moving very much fast. So this is the first round of call for proposal, and we are committed to conclude it by 31st December. So this is answer to your first question.
So it's good to know about the timelines, the fact that this will not be any other government program where people have to wait for unspecified time to get their proposals funded. That is very well understood. But another issue which most of people have, and I think rightly so, is who will evaluate these proposals? The people who are evaluating my proposal, since I am talking about artificial intelligence, I am talking about agriculture domain, will they have the kind of competence required to evaluate these proposals? And how do we ensure that those evaluators are not biased, cannot be influenced, etc.? Again, I said, since you gave this good coffee, the questions would be a little more, might sound a little more aggressive, but I think people need answers to these kind of questions as well.
Okay. So Vikas, actually we are going to evaluate all the proposals in a very transparent manner. So we have developed one portal where we would be circulating these proposals through online mode only, and those proposals will be evaluated on that portal. So we have also built a diverse pool of evaluator. So diverse pool, that doesn't mean कि मतलब लोग टेक्नोलॉजी बैकग्राउंड के, एग्रीकल्चर डोमेन के या इकोनॉमिस्ट हो सकते हैं. तो ये जो पुल है, मोस्टली these are the eminent personalities or eminent scientists from IITs, IISCs, or agriculture universities. So mostly from premier institutes, we are going to evaluate those proposals. Besides, we do also have identified some independent evaluator. So those proposals will also be on case-to-case basis referred to those experts. So one can be expert of AI, one can be expert of robotics, or one can be expert of a particular domain like soil science or agronomist or an agriculture engineer. So these proposals would be submitted to those independent evaluators. Besides this, we have also, as a government, we have also partnership with the many more foreign reputed institutions. So those proposals would also be referred to those institutions. And an independent evaluator would have industry expert, some from VC background, which could have actually a sense of economic sense in the proposal, whether this particular solution could be scaled enough or not, whether this solution can grow as an independent solution, which would be in a self-sustained manner, it can grow. So this is the diverse pool of evaluator which are going to look into it. Similarly, our center would also evaluate this proposal, and at later stage, those proposals would be placed before a state level technical committee, and afterwards this technical committee would go by the views or reviews by those evaluation made by the center, and the technical committee as indicated in the policy, that is also a pool of experts from diverse background. So they will shortlist the proposals, and ultimately all those proposals would be approved by the state level scrutiny steering committee, which is headed by the chief secretary.
Okay, sir. I think you answered the question, one part of the question partially, mentioning clearly that the evaluators would not only be from government or academic institutions, but also from industry and venture capital partners.
Yeah.
But I think one part which many innovators would want to know is that many people will, this is a very new kind of a system where one can get up to 40 lakhs or 2 crores. So many people will apply.
Yeah.
Okay, so some will succeed, some will fail.
Yeah.
My question has two parts. One, would I know at any point of time as to at which stage my proposal stands?
Yeah.
Would I know whom all have you selected?
Yeah.
And how much money has been given to them, so that I can compare whether my proposal, where does my proposal stand with those who have been selected. And third thing is, I think just most of the time what happens is I get a rejection of my proposal, but not a feedback on why it was rejected, or how do I improve upon it so that when there is a next call for proposals, I can become eligible.
Okay.
If you can provide some information on that aspect of putting everything in the public domain as to what you are doing, and also not only helping those who are being funded, but also helping those who get rejected.
Okay. So good question, I have missed that part. But answer to your question is that actually on the portal itself, an applicant would get a live status of his application till the either it get accepted or rejected. We are also going to cite the reasons and areas of improvement where they would have to work, and they can certainly come up in the second round of discussion. Regular emails would also be sent from this center to all the applicants, and everyone would be well informed. And as I said earlier, on 31st December, on or before, we are going to announce this in publicly, and certainly there would be press release, there would be actually a launch program, and those who have rejected or reasons for rejection, we are certainly going to put everything in a public domain on department website, the center's website, so everyone can come to the portal, they can see their status and reasons if they are rejected.
Thank you so much, sir. So one question I had related to this, you've answered most of the questions about the program. One of the key things I wanted to know was that this program of yours for funding, is it open only to startups or innovators from Maharashtra, or anybody from India or from the world can apply?
विकास जी, इसका मैं सिंपल सी एक ही लाइन में जवाब दूंगा कि anyone is eligible who is ready to transform Maharashtra's agriculture landscape. वो चाहे महाराष्ट्र से हो, अदर स्टेट ऑफ इंडिया से हो और ग्लोब से भी हो, बस उसने आके काम यहाँ पे करना है और यहाँ की चीज़ें AI एंड अदर टेक्नोलॉजीज़ का यूज़ करके बदल के दिखानी है. दैट इज़ द ओनली एलिजिबिलिटी.
ओके, तो सोल्यूशन कहीं का भी हो सकता है, लेकिन वो महाराष्ट्र के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में अप्लाई करके दिखाना होगा.
राइट.
एंड इफ इट सक्सीड्स हियर,
यस,
आप उसको किसी भी ट्रैक में फंड कर सकते हो, 1, 2, 3. The only thing is that it has to be applied in Maharashtra. It can be from India.
And that should be very much relevant for agriculture context of Maharashtra.
Okay, got it. The second thing I think I wanted to know from you was कि आपके बहुत सारे thematic tracks हैं.
Yeah.
Climate resilience, mechanization, post-harvest management, etc.
Yeah.
And then you're talking about AI and AgriTech. So, can any kind of a solution be eligible, or you would take only, is it compulsory to have a AI or Gen AI component in the solution, or emerging technologies, or any kind of solution will work?
So, Vikas ji, this is MahaAgri-AI policy. So, we have brought this policy for integrating AI and other emerging technology. So, we are looking for the solutions where AI or any other emerging technology is used to solve those problems. So, definitely a solution must comply with this requirement. So, that is a non-negotiable criteria. See, there could be, for instance, you were saying mechanization. So one can come up with a solution, like if someone comes with a IoT solution, which would enhance efficiency of a machine by retrofitting it on existing machine. So that we can consider. But in a traditional way, someone comes with a new machine, which would be a more or less mechanical engineering type evaluation or agriculture engineering type evolution. We are not going to entertain those proposals. So there should be an essential element of AI and emerging technologies.
Okay, I think that's very clear now, that this program is not for any kind of a solution. Largely emerging technologies and with a very strong AI component in it, be it generative AI or a language model or those kinds of things. Now let's come to the next part of this. Even though I appreciate that a large amount has been allocated by government of Maharashtra. There are lots of agencies globally. Say, for example, you have the World Bank, you have Asia Development Bank, you have
Yeah.
FAO, IFAD, and some big organizations who have their CSR divisions, which also fund these kinds of innovations. So, in order to maximize your
Yeah.
financing capacities, are you looking to partner with these organizations? Have you already started talking to them, or do you plan to have these people also partner with your program in future?
So, Vikas ji, वर्ल्ड बैंक, वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम, इस तरह की ग्लोबल एजेंसीज, मल्टीलैटरल एजेंसीज are part of our in consultative group while designing the policy. So certainly these agencies would continue with us in implementation. Not only these, but we are in a discussion with ADB, FAO, JICA, and IFAD. So there are many more agencies, and we are partnering with them. And we are very much open for if funding comes from them. As our state government has promised in a first tranche, government has promised for 500 crore. If you read the government resolution that we have issued after policy is approved by the cabinet, the government has assured us this is just a first tranche, and government is ready to provide additional funding as per requirement of the policy. So I would also like to make it clear to the startups and other audience कि ये सिर्फ 350 करोड़ की फंडिंग की बात नहीं है. Depending upon the response, government would enhance the finance. And certainly we are open for a funding from global agencies, because this is not just about a funding, but it also fetch global expertise and it enhances the efficiencies. So we are open for the partnership, and there are global tech players like Google, Microsoft, Nvidia, and many more are in discussion with us. Similarly, there are some Indian players like Sarvam and other agencies are there. We are in discussion with them, and we are looking for how to partner with them to actually transfer the benefit to the farmers. In the interest of state, in the interest of farmers, we are open for the collaboration. So, even if in our policy we are advocating for the multilateral collaborations, not only with the multilateral agency, but also homegrown companies, homegrown agencies, and industry, and several trusts even.
Very good to know that this is a program which is basically including everybody, and I'm sure you would get a force multiplier effect by having all these people with you.
Actually, that's the beauty of the collaborations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for this information. We have had lots of information from you about the program and how funding will be done. Now I think at the end, I would like to have some very basic questions about the center itself and its approach. I have been mentoring the innovators for a long time, and my firm belief is that innovation is not just about technology. It is also about the mindset. So one thing I would like to know from you is, as the managing director of this center, what kind of a mindset you would want your innovators and also anybody who associates with you to have? That is the first part of the question. And second is, anybody who is listening to you today any innovators, startups who would want to apply, what is the message you want to give to them?
So I would answer to first part of the question. So we want a very responsible entrepreneur who want to grow around his idea. So we are ready to handhold them, we are ready to mentor them, and we are also going to fund them. एंटरप्रेन्योर से हमारी सर अपेक्षा इतनी ही है कि वो खुद के पैरों पे खड़ा होना चाहिए अंत में. हर टाइम या परपेचुअल गवर्नमेंट सपोर्ट उसे नहीं मिलेगा. वी वांट टू मेक देम सेल्फ रिलायंट. At initial stage, we would be supporting them by means of funds, by means of mentorship, by means of access to the government infrastructure or access to the government data sets. But ultimately, one fine day, he has to stand on his own feet. और जो हमारे सेंटर में भी हम ये कर रहे, so we are making it minimal government center, sir. Most of the employees are from a very professional background, and they would also handhold those entrepreneurs. और वो किसानों के साथ सर रिस्पॉन्सिबल और स्केलेबल सॉल्यूशन लेके आए, या कोई आइडिया ऐसी आउट ऑफ बॉक्स आइडिया लेके आए जो लोगों की ज़िंदगी चेंज करे. वी आर लुकिंग फॉर दोज काइंड ऑफ एंटरप्रेन्योर्स.
Okay, so if I flip the question,
Yeah.
if say for example you are an entrepreneur today,
Okay.
and you have a very bright solution. When you see this call for proposal, what kind of a application you would make?
So since I am MTech in agricultural engineering with a specialization in farm mechanization, if I would have been entrepreneur, primarily I would have worked around IoTs and various sensors which could enhance the efficiency of the machinery. Probably I would have not gone into the developing a new machine.
Okay.
I would have tried to retrofit the existing machinery, but certainly I could have think of a new machine with IoTs or sensors embedded in it. So that is my take.
So basically not reinventing,
Yeah.
be very innovative.
Yes.
And something which is affordable and demandable.
Even sir, एंटरप्रेन्योर को ना जस्ट कॉल फॉर प्रपोजल देखते हुए उसके अराउंड सोल्यूशन नहीं तैयार करना है. दे शुड लुक एट देयर स्ट्रेंथ, दे शुड कम अप विद देयर स्ट्रेंथ. जस्ट कोई, and one should not look it at as a सब्सिडी बेनिफिट स्कीम. सो आई है अब ऐसा प्रोग्राम गवर्नमेंट का, या ऐसा गवर्नमेंट का प्रोग्राम आया तो चलो एप्लीकेशन लगा देते हैं. सो वी आर लुकिंग फॉर वेरी सीरियस एंटरप्रेन्योर, and just they lack in funding or in mentorship, so we are there to handhold them for that purpose.
Okay, sir, thank you so much. I think this has been very inspiring to hear you today. But I think the message is also very clear to the entrepreneurs that just because there is a call for proposal, you cannot submit anything for getting money. If you are already in the field, you have a very innovative solution or a proof of concept also, since there is track 1, you can apply for this. But this definitely is not a welfare program. The evaluation would be as rigorous as it is done by the venture capital firms. The evaluators are from across the globe, and the governance is such that if you don't succeed here, there's no way you can come back and ask for more money. So thank you so much for telling us about the entire program, how it works, how you will select entrepreneurs, what is it that they should expect. Now, as we are ending this discussion, I would like you to summarize your message for the entrepreneurs as well as anybody else who is willing to be part of this program.
ओके सो विकास जी देखिए, जैसे हमारे डिस्कशन में ये बहुत बात आई, सो वी आर लुकिंग फॉर अ सॉल्यूशन विच कुड डिलीवर लॉन्ग टर्म बेनिफिट टू द फार्मर. सो बेसिकली हम एक एंटरप्रेन्योर माइंडसेट जिनके पास है, जो बिजनेस खड़ा कर सकते हैं, और उनका सॉल्यूशन हो सकता है बहुत इफेक्टिव हो, बट दैट कैन नॉट बी द एट अफोर्डेबल प्राइस टू द फार्मर्स. तो सिर्फ एफिकेसी काम की नहीं है, तो उसमें एक इकोनॉमिक सेंस भी होना चाहिए. तो ऐसे अफोर्डेबल सॉल्यूशन और जो फार्मर सेंट्रिक है, और सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट, अगर सॉल्यूशन फिजिबल होगा तो ही वो मार्केट में जाएगा और जो टारगेट कस्टमर है वो उसे लेगा. तो उसमें एक इकोनॉमिक सेंस होना ज़रूरी है, और ताकि वो स्केल कर पाए और ख़ुद के बलबूते पे स्केल कर पाए. गवर्नमेंट एक हद तक उनको फंडिंग करेगी अंडर ट्रैक 1, ट्रैक 2 एंड लेटर एट ट्रैक 3, बट अंत में उनको फंडिंग उठानी है और ख़ुद से बिजनेस चलाना है. परपेचुअल बेनिफिट किसी को नहीं मिलने वाला. तो ऐसे जो सीरियस और रिस्पॉन्सिबल इनोवेटर्स हैं, स्टार्टअप्स हैं, स्टूडेंट्स हैं, कोऑपरेटिव हो सकती है, ये पीओ हो सकती है, और इवन दो वी वुड आल्सो लाइक टू हैव कंसोर्शिया ऑफ डिफरेंट एजेंसी, लाइक one could be industry, one could be academic institution, or students, farmers, POs, anything kind of consortia, we are welcoming them as well. As long as they are coming up with the solution which has AI or any other emerging technology is used into it, and that should have play a significant role. जैसे अभी सर हम डिजिटल इंडिया, डिजिटल की बात करते हैं, तो हर एआई डिजिटल होता है, लेकिन हर डिजिटल एआई होना ज़रूरी नहीं है. सो दैट इज़ द सेंट्रल आइडिया ऑफ दिस कॉल फॉर प्रपोजल.
Thank you so much. As you have heard that this is not just a funding program. This is an effort by government of Maharashtra to build an entire ecosystem where the entrepreneurs, the government agency, the farmers, big tech industry, multilateral agencies, they're all part of that ecosystem. So if you have an innovative idea that can transform agriculture, this is your moment to apply. But yes, there is also a caveat. If you're just looking for a welfare program, this is not for you. This is for entrepreneurs who can solve a perfect problem which can transform agriculture not only in Maharashtra but globally. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll come back to you again once this program has run its first round and we have some success stories. See you again.